Richard Nixon, the 37th President of the United States, presided over one of the most defining corruption scandals in modern politics, Watergate. His administration's success in foreign diplomacy, such as opening China and easing Cold War tensions, was overshadowed by political espionage and cover-ups aimed at undermining opponents. The 1972 break-in at the Democratic National Committee exposed a vast network of illegal surveillance and obstruction. Nixon's resignation in 1974 marked a turning point for public trust in government, cementing his name as a case study in the abuse of executive power and the fragility of democratic accountability. Ferdinand Marcos, the 10th president of the Philippines, ruled the Philippines for over 2 decades, transforming the republic into a dictatorship through martial law. His early image as a nationalist leader gave way to a regime characterized by patronage, media control, and alleged embezzlement of up to $10 billion. The Marcos family's opulent lifestyle became a global symbol of kleptocracy. His ousting during the 1986 People Power Revolution ended an era of repression, but the family's political return in recent years has reignited debates about corruption, memory, and the durability of political dynasties in Southeast Asia. Silvio Berlusconi, Italy's media magnate and 4-time prime minister, built a career intertwining politics, business, and entertainment. His leadership style emphasized charisma and populism, but his tenure was marred by trials for tax fraud, bribery, and abuse of office. Berlusconi's control of major television networks allowed him to shape public discourse while defending his image. Despite multiple convictions, he remained influential in Italian politics for decades. His blend of media power and political immunity set a precedent for personalist governance in Western democracies. Jacob Zuma, South Africa's president from 2009 to 2018, rose from anti-apartheid activism to national leadership. His presidency, however, was defined by state capture, a form of systemic corruption in which private interests, notably the Gupta family, influenced government policy and contracts. Public protests and judicial pressure led to his resignation amid accusations of fraud and racketeering. Zuma's case reflects the ongoing tension between liberation movements and governance ethics in post-apartheid Africa, where revolutionary legitimacy often collides with accountability demands. Nawaz Sharif, 3-time Prime Minister of Pakistan, represents the enduring entanglement between political power and wealth in South Asia. Emerging from an industrialist family, he built his career around conservative economic growth and alliances with Pakistan's elite. The 2016 Panama Papers linked his family to offshore accounts, leading to his disqualification by the Supreme Court. Despite imprisonment and exile, Sharif's party remains a dominant force in Pakistani politics, demonstrating how entrenched patronage networks can outlast corruption verdicts. Alberto Fujimori governed Peru from 1990 to 2000, credited for defeating hyperinflation and insurgency, but later convicted for corruption and human rights abuses. His administration centralized power through secret police operations led by Vladimir Montesinos, who bribed officials, judges, and media outlets. Fujimori's authoritarian rule disguised as reformist governance blurred the line between order and repression. His conviction in 2007 established an international precedent for prosecuting heads of state for corruption and abuse of power. Hosni Mubarak's 30-year rule over Egypt rested on military dominance and political control. Under his government, public institutions became vehicles of patronage and elite enrichment. Economic liberalization favored loyal businessmen, while dissent was tightly suppressed. Widespread inequality and police brutality ignited the 2011 Arab Spring, forcing his resignation. Though acquitted of several charges later, Mubarak's downfall symbolized a regional awakening against entrenched autocracy and the blurred line between state governance and personal wealth accumulation. Viktor Yanukovych, president of Ukraine from 2010 to 2014, became infamous for his lavish lifestyle amid national poverty. His rejection of an EU trade deal triggered the Euromaidan protests, leading to mass demonstrations and deadly crackdowns. Leaked documents revealed extensive corruption, with state funds redirected for personal luxury, including his sprawling Mejihirya estate. Yanukovych fled to Russia after his ousting. His downfall intensified Ukraine's political divide and set the stage for the nation's long struggle between reform and oligarchic control. Suharto ruled Indonesia for over 30 years under the New Order, combining economic modernization with authoritarian control. His government maintained stability through military loyalty and suppression of dissent, while his family and allies built vast business empires. Transparency International later labeled him one of the most corrupt leaders in history, accused of diverting up to $35 billion in state funds. His 1998 resignation marked the collapse of one of Asia's longest-standing kleptocracies, leaving Indonesia to rebuild its democratic institutions amid lingering cronyism. Park Geun-hye, South Korea's first female president, came to power in 2013 on a platform of reform and integrity. Her presidency ended in scandal when it was revealed that her confidant, Choi Soon-sil, had influenced government decisions and extorted millions from corporations. The revelation triggered mass protests and her impeachment in 2017. Park's downfall underscored the strength of South Korea's democratic institutions and civic activism in confronting corruption, even at the highest level of power. Omar al-Bashir ruled Sudan for 30 years after seizing power in a 1989 coup. His administration was accused of embezzlement, war crimes, and genocide during the Darfur conflict. Despite international isolation, Bashir maintained control through patronage networks and security forces. Massive protests in 2019 led to his removal and imprisonment. His legacy continues to shape Sudan's political instability, exemplifying how entrenched corruption and violence reinforce each other in authoritarian states. Nicolás Maduro, successor to Hugo Chavez in Venezuela, presides over one of the world's most severe political and economic crises. His government faces allegations of electoral fraud, embezzlement, and links to narco-trafficking. While positioning himself as a socialist protector of the poor, Maduro's regime has been accused of siphoning billions from state oil revenues amid nationwide shortages. His continued hold on power, supported by military loyalty and foreign allies, illustrates how corruption sustains political survival in collapsing states. Vladimir Putin has dominated Russian politics for over 2 decades, centralizing power around security services and loyal oligarchs. Though rarely proven in court, numerous investigations link his regime to covert wealth accumulation through state contracts and energy monopolies. Critics argue that corruption in Putin's Russia functions as a tool of governance, binding elites through shared interests. His enduring popularity and control of institutions demonstrate how modern authoritarianism can legitimize corruption as stability. Imelda Marcos, former First Lady of the Philippines, became synonymous with political extravagance. Her collection of luxury shoes and properties epitomized the excesses of the Marcos dictatorship. Though convicted in multiple corruption cases, she retained influence and was later elected to Congress. Imelda's ability to rebrand her image from scandal to nostalgia highlights the resilience of elite power structures and the blurred boundary between celebrity and corruption in global politics.